This, as we've got the latest inflation figures, and inflation has fallen. I mean, wow, amazing. Yeah, not that much. It's 6.8% in the months, or the 12 months to July. Those are the latest Office for National Statistics figures. It was 7.9% a month earlier. So going in the right direction and at quite a pace now. Remember, we were stuck in double figures for quite a few months, and it's the lowest rate of inflation for 15 months. So are we over the worst? But what does that mean for interest rates, your mortgage if you've got one, pensions triple lot as well after wage inflation yesterday? And what does it mean for your household bills? Let's talk to Labour MP Khalid Mahmood about all of that. Good morning to you, Khalid.
Good morning, Julia.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, I mean, we've got these latest inflation figures and they come on top of Labour Party research, which you're talking about this morning, which sees the average family in this country seeing their household bills rising from, well, it's an absolutely huge sum, £350 since 2021. But that's per month. These are astronomical figures. If it was per year, that would be a struggle for a lot of families. £350 per month is virtually unaffordable for many. So how are families coping?
Well, with great amount of difficulty, Julia, and the problems being it's not just the issue of inflation on food, but also inflation on energy as well, which has cost a huge amount, where we've had at the moment everybody from supermarkets to energy companies, gas companies, banks making an absolute fortune, whilst people are being left to suffer.
OK, I'm going to correct you on the bank, sorry, on the supermarkets. Supermarkets have not been making a fortune. No, their profit margins haven't gone up, and I mean, there have just been huge extra costs. I'm not defending any particular company, but it is a matter of fact that has been debunked.
No, but I take an issue on the report that came out where they said that they haven't made as much profit, but due to structural issues within the new system. So what they've done is use an alternative accounting system to deal with that. And I wish somebody, perhaps if I've got a bit more time.
OK, well, it's a complicated picture, but we know that, you know, the cost of fertilisers, the cost of food, the cost of energy to make and produce products, manufacture them, grow products, transport costs have gone up, the cost of running stores, the cost of, you know, those freezer containers, the huge extra costs for supermarkets that they are also facing, and eventually those costs do get passed on to us. Here's the question: things are difficult, times are really hard. We know that Rishi Sunak, the Conservative Prime Minister, promised in January two of the things he was going to deal with. One was the cost of living, generally getting inflation down, but also cutting down the ratio of debt to GDP in this country, just improving things for people. What would Labour be doing if you were in power today? What would you be doing differently from the Conservatives right now to tackle all these issues?
Well, one of the key things that we've said for a long time is have a proportionate windfall tax, where actually all these institutions, particularly the energy companies and some of these people who made a huge amount of fortune by doing nothing more than just being in that space and being those companies or making those rises. So what we need to do is bring that down. And then once you do that, then you have a bit more money that the government has to play with, but also in terms of wage rises that have happened because they needed to meet the inflation costs. So the inflation costs have caused a huge amount of issue in relation to that as well. So by not controlling inflation, this has caused the problems that we've got. And therefore, there hasn't been that increase. And also in terms of just purely being able to get more people working across the UK. There are 8 million people at the moment in the UK that are not effectively working in the economic field. So the less people you have working, the less output you're going to produce.
Yeah, but again, Labour would complain about that, and it's 5 million people of working age who are just left, you know, not in the labour market at all, but you know, could be. Whenever the Conservatives try and sort of clamp down on things like that in terms of people claiming benefits and having more checks and getting people back to work, they're told by MPs like you on the Labour side, "Oh, you're being cruel. You don't care about the sick." I mean, and they get attacked for it.
Well, no, it's just the people that are sick. There are people that need to be trained properly. There are people that need to have the right qualifications to be able to do the job. You can't just walk up nowadays and go into a place of work and work without the training that you need.
No, there are loads of jobs. But you can't, I mean, people are crying out for people to do waiting work. I was a waitress. I mean, you know, being a good waiter or waitress, you know, you have to have some experience, but you can go in and do that job on day one. You can wash up in a restaurant. There are loads of jobs that you can make sandwiches in working Greggs, for goodness sake, without a load of skills. And people aren't turning up to do those jobs.
Well, to make sandwiches, you need some hygiene training.
Hygiene. You know what? Every single person in this country can make a sodding sandwich without training.
Well, you need some training. You try and feed somebody else. I think you'll need to
I feed other people all the time and I've had no training.
Look, Julia, simple issue is that if you want to get more people into work, then rather than just penalising them, we need to make sure that they're in a position to take work up and then have incentives for people to do that. At the moment, it's not working. So what are we going to do about it? And this, for the 13 years, the last government that we've got, this government that we've got, haven't done enough to make sure more people coming into the economic
But again, why do people need an incentive other than you won't be able... I mean, if you're disabled, if you're elderly, if you're having other issues you're dealing with, my God, we're a civilised country. We should all be working hard and paying taxes to support those people. If you're able-bodied, you should be at work. There are plenty of jobs right now. We don't need to give people an incentive other than you won't be able to eat and you'll starve to death.
Well, yeah, get the proper information for those people that are...
Here's the proper information. There is zero money going into your bank account this week because you've been on your fat bum all week. That's the sort of information people need, don't they?
I wish you wouldn't get personal about that to me.
Never.
As far as I'm concerned, I think the real issue is, look, we've got to train people properly to get them into proper jobs. We've got to look at what's going on in the local market and get those people there. The DWP need to actually assess those people properly. Those that are rightly have long-term illnesses or disabilities obviously can't do that, but there are other people who don't.
Most people with long-term disabilities want to work. I've got a very good friend working in the benefits office. Says those are often the people who really do want to work and they will do anything. There's loads of work from home right now, even with a long-term disability, physical disability. They're able to do a lot of work. I mean, goodness me, they could go work for the Home Office. They never have to turn up anywhere.
Well, I think working from home and working in the office is another issue that we've got to look at in relation to now getting things back to normal. There has to be an issue in terms of if you're not in a place where you're going to deliver a service, direct service, then it's difficult to do that work from home. So I think we need to look at that as well.
All right, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That's the Labour MP Khalid Mahmood.